When is this Master Pack coming out? October 10th. That is Thursday? Fucking hell. So I won't get to play it until Monday. Ugh. I don't know if you've seen this, by the way, but, like, it's not going to be good. It's really not going to be good. Like, there's semi-limiting Sangen summoning. That's the hit. You are going to have to play against Tenpai, and you're going to play against it a lot. Let me tell you, if you thought Tenpai was annoying in the TCG, wait till you play against it in Master Duel. They have Red Reboot legal in this format. You understand that, right? It's unfortunate because I think during the last couple of formats where the TCG has been just so fucking dog shit, Master Duel has been a really unexpected ray of hope, but this may be the end of that ray. Tenpai, or Ritual Beast, by the way, coming out in this pack as well. I'd love to play Ritual Beast on stream. I may play some of that. That's a damn fun deck, but it's hard as hell. All right, Suda, Double Fusion, Quarter Century Art Collection. Okay, we don't need to talk about that, I don't think. Materia Reactors. Free Agents. This is all Rush Duel. Blue Eyes White Power. Tempura of Chance Ebby. Is that it? The world premieres. This is a world premiere. White Woman. New Bug. Imports. New Fiend Smiths. Jesus Christ, there's so much. Okay, I think that's everything. Holy. New cards, PogChamp, new cards, PogChamp. Let's begin with this. New pack and preemptive limitation. So Master Duel is getting Tenpai. Well, I hope everyone's had a fun time playing Master Duel, because it's now over. Next up. All right, we'll start at the back. Have Mercy with 2 new Fiend Smith cards, Suda. Suda, very scary in terms of what you want to name your set. And this comes from Supreme Darkness, the Evil Hero set. We're going to begin with Fiend Smith's Rex Tremenade. Tremende. Okay. If this card is fusion summoned, discard a card, add a light fiend monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. Crazy. Unaffected by non-Fiend Smith cards while equipped with a Fiend Smith equip spell. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one other Fiend Smith card in your graveyard or banishment, add it to your hand. I don't know what this is used for yet. Let's go to Kyrie. This turn, your light fiend monsters can't be destroyed by battle, and any battle damage you take is halved. You can banish this card from your graveyard to fusion summon a Fiend Smith fusion from your extra using monsters you control as material. You can also use monsters in your spell trap equipped to a Fiend Smith monster as equip spells. Okay, now I understand it. So what they want you to do is make Desiree use the Desiree and then use the Kyrie in the graveyard in order to fuse into Tremade, which does nothing. Okay. This references Kyrie Liaison. Okay, thank you. These are hard to place, mostly because I think at present we are only thinking of Fiend Smith in terms of a thing you can put in other better decks. They keep printing cards in order to try and make us play Fiend Smith as its own strategy. I'm not going to do it. This is not sufficient for me to do it. But sort of a super poly target, right? One fusion or link monster. I mean, you can get Desiree and then one other thing. That's something, right? Next up. Okay, so this is what we got in Rhoda, which had its pre-release last weekend. These are our imports. We did finally get Ulcanix, which is incredible. I mean, really improves the quality of Fire King Snake Eye builds. We got Cursed Fire Doom Burst and Splitting Planarian. This is a card with a lot of potential, so I'm super excited to see exactly this card. Next up. Lure your opponent in with new insect support. They're trying to kill Neshi. They're trying to kill Neshi. They're trying to kill him dead. They're trying to take Neshi and put him in a box called a coffin. So, first up we have Supply Soldier of the Indestructible Insects. This is a level 5 Insect Earth effect monster. When an insect monster's effect is activated, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then, if you activated this effect in response to your opponent's effect activation, negate that effect, and then until the end of your next turn after this effect resolves, you can special summon from the extra deck except insect monsters. So, this is... it's kind of weird. It is a negate specifically for an opponent's insect effects, right? Which is weird. Otherwise, it's an extender. Now, this sounds terrible, right? Except there's another line of text here. It says, during your main phase, you can fusion summon an insect fusion monster from your extra deck. Using monsters from your hand or field, you can use each effect once per turn. So, now we maybe can imagine a use case for this. First up, of course, in the OCG, it can be used to negate Maxi, right? It's another copy of Ash that if you're playing an insect deck, you know, does something. Probably not good enough to see play because they have 3 Maxis now and only 2 of the actual Maxi. But there's also some corner case scenarios where you can like give your opponent like a Parasite Paranoid, which is already okay in Insect, and like then their most powerful monster's effect is negated by the existence of this card. Kind of hemming and hawing around the edges here. The reason you'd play this card is it's an extender that can perform a fusion summon. And mechanisms by which to fusion summon in this insect soup deck that has kind of evolved out of years of Battle Wasp and Bee Trooper support, they're kind of few and far between. So this is not a bad one. And of course, insects are endlessly searchable. Here is the card I think they expect you to summon off it. I don't know if we're gonna. This is one level 5 or higher insect monster. You'll notice that this actually is a level 5 or higher insect monster and an insect monster. And remember, if you're chaining it to the activation of your insect monster's effect, you've got one of those. Cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. If all face-up monsters you control are insect monsters, you can target 2 monsters on the field, including an insect you control, banish them. This seems kind of good to me. It's one of those things that doesn't fit perfectly into existing Bee Trooper Battle Wasp nonsense combos. But it's kind of like DPE. Obviously, it's not recursive. You can plus off it, you know, banish one of the very few insects that likes being in banished. And chat has figured it out. The new Battle Wasp synchro plays really nicely with this card. I think it's a really fantastic thing that they have given us. Another card, Insect Invitation. Face-up monsters your opponent controls that were not special summoned, or were not summoned this turn become insect. This is kind of weird. It's a mechanism by which this is always a negate, but like, that were not summoned this turn. Like, you lead your turn with it or something. You can only use each of the following effects of Invitation once per turn. You can target 3 of your banished insect monsters, shuffle them into the deck, draw a card. Then during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there from the hand this turn, you can put it face up in your spell and trap zone. Really strange, like, going second tool that trades for a negate if you have Supply Soldier, which you're already natively playing. There's also some applications where it's like, you slam it down and it fucks up your opponent's ability to do their combos, but like on turn 3. Weird decision here. I get it, though. You know, it's supposed to be like the Insect Barrier combo card, but it doesn't really work the way that you would want. Oh my god. Fop Sisters. If the total level of monsters you control are less than or equal to the total level of monsters your opponent controls, tribute this card at a level 7 or higher insect or plant monster from your deck to your hand. During the end phase of this turn, take 2,700 damage if you did not normal or special summon the added monster or a card with the same original name after activating this effect. This is a weird card. It's like, no, you can spend your normal on this, then tribute it in order to get a Doom Dozer. Then you have to summon it or you die. So, like, who cares? The insect deck already has a million ways to search any insect in the world. It is a really weird one. Chat says it's Godarla search, and I don't care about that. Oh my god, wait. No, you're right. It's a reference to a scene in Mothra. So Mothra is a weird movie, and a critical part of Mothra is these two twins that are tiny come on out and sing a song. This is Matsuraya. That's the one, right? Oh my god. I remember listening to this as a kid and being like, this is a weird part of the movie, but I'll watch it, man. I was a big Godzilla kid growing up. Okay, well, now that we know the reference, we can safely say this card sucks ass. Why'd they make them white? Also, why is there only one? Isn't there supposed to be two? Sisters. Anyway, next up. Speaking of white, we have the White Woman. Okay, so let's just do the text on this card real quick. If a monster is tributed from the hand or field, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, apply the following effect based on which player owns that face-up monster. You take control of it, return it to the end during the end phase. Your opponent negates its effects until the end of the turn. Okay, so this is a reference card to remove brainwashing, right? Which is a card that said control of monsters returns to their original owners and was tinkered with really early after Kaijus were first released. You guys remember Kaijus? In that card, it's an old card. And so it has like the hallmarks of old Yu-Gi-Oh! 2003, one of the oldest, where it's just like a woman. Like the art is like, here's a woman. And like she had like a mind-controlling like tiara on her that has now broken. It's like a woman. But now, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is all about dragons and demons and, you know, cyber fuckers. So they're trying to do a reference card, but like to reference this, you would just put a picture of a woman being happy. So I just love the pictures, just like I mean, she's one pair of folded arms away from this is how people who have had their brainwashing removed look at you. We also have Mantman the Ultra Human. Can't be tributed or destroyed by battle while face up on a field. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If your opponent controls a face-up card you own, special this card from your hand, and then during the end phase, if this was normally special summoned to this turn, put this on the bottom of the deck, then you can return a face-up card in the field you own to your hand. I can't figure out a use case for these two cards. I don't think there is one. I think they're meant to be cute and funny, but I don't think they're meant to be good. She became normal. This is the bad end, is becoming normal. Next up. We have some more world premiere cards. This is the world premiere. This is the world premiere. Call forth the Norse gods. Aid your undersea army or defy creation itself. So we have Denial Deity Doton, perfect for Locktober. One light monster plus two monsters except monsters on the field or in the graveyard. This is weird. This is a strange condition. This fusion summoned card cannot be destroyed by battle. As long as no monsters on your field or graveyard share an original name with any monster on your opponent's field or graveyard, monsters you control can't be destroyed by card effects. And then you can send from your hand, deck, or extra one monster with the same original name as a monster on your opponent's field or graveyard, then target a card on their field or graveyard, banish it. This is a convoluted-ass effect, but as some people have kind of already figured out, it does have a couple of applications. So I don't know how the hell you're getting this guy out, of course. You know, that's step one. But this thing you can send to the graveyard, a monster with the same original name, you don't have to banish the card that has the same original name. Understand? So if your opponent has activated Ash Blossom, and you have, you know, a couple of Ash Blossoms in your deck, you can send them all from your deck to the graveyard in order to banish 3 cards, right? If your opponent's activated basically any hand trap, this guy's online, but doesn't do anything yet because this effect is not a quick. So, like, it's for a scenario where your opponent has set up and then followed up with, like, hand traps, or you're in, like, a mirror or playing some, like, highly played cards, like, I don't know, Fiend Smith Tract or something. And also it sends to the graveyard, so there's some scenarios where, like, the cards that they've used are cards that you also incidentally want in the graveyard. It's a very strange card that does read, like, banish 5, but at the same time is probably still not playable. Chaotic Meatball, I'm so pissed I have to evacuate on my birthday of all days. Holy shit. 1, happy birthday. 2, holy, stay safe, buddy. Next up, we have Butterfly Fish. This card is actually a fish, not a butterfly. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect, you can add this card to your hand. If a monster is sent to your graveyard except by battle, while this card is in your graveyard, you can discard a card of the graveyard, special summon this card. You can only use this butterfly fish effect once per turn, and only once that turn. You cannot special from the extra deck except waters the turn you activate either of this card's effects. So, this card has a lot of potential. As I'm sure you all know, there are new mermails in Rhoda. There's new Neptibus. There's a couple of mermail Atlanteans. And this card actually plays very well with them. Like the mermails and Atlanteans, he has an effect that triggers when it's sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect. You can add this card to your hand. Is not fantastic, but it is kind of like Cyber Angel Ben 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, well, this hand just needs to be able to send guys instead of profiting off of them. Here's 2 of them. And then the second effect is not bad either. If a monster is sent to your graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, except by battle, I mean, they'll usually be sent by card effect, you can discard a card, special this card. Who gives a fuck that you've specialed it? Discarding a card will trigger the effect of, you know, Atlanteans that need to be sent to the graveyard to activate the effect of a water monster. However, I think this probably doesn't see the cut. It's so rough to see a card so perfectly designed for one thing and be like, it probably doesn't make the cut. And that's because it's only 1 effect per turn and only once that turn. That's not too big of a deal because the second one will probably be live on your opponent's turn. But that first one being a hard one means it's not infinite fodder. It's 2 pieces of fodder. And it's not like you can discard it twice for something like a Megalo. Like, it's got to be a discard and then a follow-up discard. And the way Merlantian works now, you actually do want to be discarding pretty specific things. This effect, while it's in the graveyard also, is not as good as the new Mermail Atlantean woman, who can do it as a quick effect in order to get like a heavy infantry into the graveyard. It's crazy because it is really close. It is a card that feels like if we didn't have the cards that we do in Rhoda, I would be considering Mermail because of the existence of this card. But as is, I'm considering Mermail because they printed better versions of him already. Would go crazy in old Mermail. If you put this card in 2013, Mermail would be the best deck by a country mile. In fact, if you put this in 2016-17 with Neptibus, people would probably play it. But at present, I don't think he would make the cut, which is really unfortunate. Next up, QQNA Gion. Okay, this is a card that Dyer hit me up about because she was exploring its utility in Generator of all things. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can reveal a level 9, except for this card. Special both this card and the revealed monster. You can't special from the extra deck except rank 9 or higher. You can only use this effect once per turn. And the card that is made with this card gains 900 attack and defense. Card's not good. I'm sorry. I wish the card was good. It isn't. Generator does not have a problem summoning a whole shitload of monsters. The last thing they need is like a more conditional Vala. And I gotta say, this lock into Xyz monsters only is a big deal. At present, I think Generator wants to go into Ebe Justiciar. I think they want to go into SP Little Knight turn 1. This really restricts your ability to do any of that. And I'm imagining a lot of scenarios in which, because you have built your deck correctly, you pull a QQ and an Aegion and then nothing else. You have to go like Mardell, Search, Har. I don't think this card is good. Next up. Now, this card is good. So, I guess I'll just say it, because we're all thinking it. Why the fuck is this card not a Sue ship? What is going on? Why is this not a Sue ship? Okay. It's called Tempura of Chance EBI. You can only use the pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. Target a card in your pendulum zone, toss a coin. If the result is heads, special that card. Or if the result is tails, destroy it, and you lose life points equal to its scale times 300. Stupid effect. Let's read the important stuff here. Went to Edo Front, which is the talk of the town. The tempura here is not only massive in scale, but its beautiful appearance has also earned it the name Kinpura. Although the port is filled with the latest state-of-the-art facilities and has a cross-cultural feel to it, the air is filled with a rich aroma that evokes a certain sense of nostalgia, and the occasional cracking and popping sound echoes through the air, lifting one's spirits. Although I had long awaited this tempura, the rough conditions in the surrounding airspace meant it could not enter the port today. Due to my poor luck, I had to hand in practically a blank report. It's regrettable, as I've been looking forward to this for over a year, but I think at the end of the day, I'll give this 3 stars. And, of course, it has 3 stars. So it's the Sue Ship Air Force is what we've learned. He didn't even eat it. I know, it's crazy. Next up. Whites, 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 whites! Blue Eyes White Destiny is here. Why is it called Blue Eyes White Destiny? That's a fucked up thing to call it. Okay, so let's talk about this this structure deck. The most important thing that's going to happen as a result of this structure deck is you're no longer going to see Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon in Target. Konami has reprinted Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon. I'm going to pull it up, actually. Oh, damn it, they don't say. The short of this is this deck has been reprinted, I want to say, like 12 times. It's kind of strange. And it does sell really well. It's like one of their top sellers in the history of time. But it has this unintended consequence of the first thing little children do when they first get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Is they go to Target and they purchase the Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon structure deck, and then they just get schlonged over and over again. Because it's not good. So hopefully this will resolve that outstanding problem. Oh, man. So let's see what's in it. It doesn't say. So we know all the new cards. They look interesting. I will be playing with them in the coming weeks. I love that Blue Eyes has hair. It's like normal hair. Hey, MBT, did you know it's International Lesbian Day? I did not. Wow. And I just hope that everyone has fun. Okay, new free agents. Dark Sea Serpent, Dry Aggle. If you have 3 or more level 10 monsters on your field, graveyard, or banishment, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. This card gains 500. And if the sent card was a monster, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. Otherwise, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. What is this for? Template Skipper. You can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can special summon this card from your hand to a zone a Cyber Sponsor links to. Then you can banish a Cyber Sponsor from your hand to graveyard. When you link summon this turn, you can treat this card as a link material with the same name as the banished monster. So this is 4-mana Skipper. Unfortunately, I don't think it really does any of the cool stuff that 4-mana Skipper does. It's a free special in Cyberse, which, oh god, you know, we finally a free special in Cyberse, but it only copies like the link material from guys who are in the grave, which is strange. And then this card I've seen a lot of, Twins of the Eclipse. For this card's Xyz summon, you can treat rank 4 monsters you control as level 4s for material. Detach a material, this can make 2 attacks on monsters, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target 2 other rank 4 or lower Xyz monsters, special summon one of them, and attach the other to it as material. This card, it's gotta be broken. It's like it's got some effects that change things in ways that are setting off alarm bells. I don't think anyone has figured out a way to break it yet, and I think that a significant amount of individuals are kind of prognosticating that this card is only okay, but you have to imagine a scenario where, like, you are able to make it because you have a weird number of monsters on your side of the field, or you have a used up rank 4, like a Bahamut Shark or something. Then you put it in the EMZ, you link it off for a gravity controller, then you target 2 Xyz in your graveyard, special one and attach the other. Hell, you could do the Bahamut Shark again, then get another Toad. There's just some stuff going on here that is interesting. Remains to be seen what it will be used for. Synthesize the ultimate Reactor strategy. Okay, so the Reactors, if you are Jaxel, are one of the weirdest obsessions of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! They printed a bunch of cards that were like, ooh, get ready for the Reactors, and then just forgot about them. Like, they didn't print any more. They printed 1 wave of them, and wave here means 2 cards. But we have more. Reactor X-Rept. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can reveal this card in your hand and discard one other card at a level 3 normal from your deck or graveyard your hand, except the discarded, then special this card in defense. And then as a quick, you can discard this card to target a rank 3 Xyz monster you control. It gains 1,500 attack until the end of the turn. Reactor Zeptowing. If you control a Reactor, it can be special summoned from the hand. If normally special or flipped face up, you can take a Reactor from your deck to your hand, except a Zepto Ring, then take a level 3 normal monster from your graveyard, add it to your hand or special summon it. And finally, Reactor X card. You can detach a material from this card, special summon a Reactor, or add a spell trap to your hand. Danny, what do you think of these?
They're cool.
You think they're cool?
Yeah. I don't get it, though. People are freaking out about it.
Fuck you.
Is it anime?
No, it's not. It's not from anything.
Oh.
Biblically accurate Reactor.
Huh. Why were people freaking out about it?
Is this all you need?
Yeah.
All right, sick.
Thank you.
Sorry for me, you drive an hour. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can add up to 2 cards attached to this card as material to your hand, including a Reactor card. Then if you have a normal monster in your graveyard, return a card on the field to the hand. Oh my god, there's a continuous spell. Excavate the top 6 cards of your deck, add an excavated Reactor to your hand, put the rest on top of your deck in any order, then add a card attached to your rank 3 as material to your hand. If your Xyz monster's effect is activated, you can attach a tap card. And Reactor critical, when a spell trap or monster effect is activated, add a card attached to a Reactor to your hand, negate the activation, then apply the effect based on the card's type. Huh. So what's going on here is it feels like the previous series of Reactor cards were basically just the teaser for a full-fledged archetype that we now have. We've got 2 monsters, an Xyz, a spell, and a trap. These cards are interesting, and I thought Materia Reactors were quite good the last time we took a look at them. There just weren't really any of them. But in terms of what this archetype needed to be playable in other capacities, this is pretty close to it. The new Xyz is really good, both as a piece of Materia Reactor support and as a generic 3 for decks like Goblin Biker. This normal monster stuff is interesting and plays pretty well with a significant amount of cards that care about summoning normal monsters. I would like to see these in a rank 3 strategy, and I think it is possible. But again, I think the more interesting question to ask about this archetype is, why is it being made? Like, why are they revealing 4 Materia Reactor cards every 5 sets? Why are they like, oh, what the people need is a bunch of cards for an archetype no one has any feelings about, because they're just like guys that are in the set. It's odd. It's very odd. Oh, we've got Double Fusion. This is a V-Jump. This card performs a fusion summon, then summons again. Okay. I keep thinking of applications for this card and then thinking, no, that doesn't really work. I like how I like how they print V-Jump cards now. They're like, oh yeah, this card is not going to be playable. And then finally, new Tenyis. So Surya, if you control a worm or a non-effect monster, can be special from the hand. And if it's sent to the graveyard as synchro material for a worm, you can special summon a Tenyi from your extra deck, but it can't be used as link material. Then you lose life points equal to its link rating times 1,000. Mula Adhara says if this card is synchro summoned and you have 2 or more worm monsters in your graveyard or in your banishment, you can add a field spell from your deck to your hand. Stop printing AFD. I'm tired of seeing it. This card gains these effects while there's a non-effect monster on the field. Can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Your opponent can't target this card with card effects or can make a second attack during each battle phase. And Eternal Perfection of the Tenyi. This is a funny-ass card. It adds Vessel or Heavenly Dragon Circle. You contribute a worm to target a card on the field, destroy it, and then during your end phase, you can swap it for Flawless Perfection, which will draw you 2 cards on your opponent's turn and protects your guys. These cards are really good. They're quite strong. Tenyi was already an archetype that I thought was really good for new players. It's endlessly complicated, but it is also super cheap and does something that no other deck does. These cards lean into that element of the strategy really well. I think it's quite interesting. Surya is a really cool and fun card. Having a 4-tuner that's free is great. They already have a significant amount of ways to get to non-tuners. And this 8-star payoff is good in a deck that's previous 8-star payoff was just Draco Berserker, who's fine but not fantastic. A lot of people have been gassing these cards the fuck up. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think these cards are fine. I don't think they are the difference maker either for Tenyi as a strategy or Swordsoul. Seen a lot of people being like, we need to consider Swordsoul a threat in the coming metagame because of these cards. I do not think that at all. I think these are cool cards for a rogue deck that's great for new players. I think they are upgrades to Swordsoul, a deck that is completely fine to print upgrades for. They're a nice boost,